Hi, this is Tekson Teo. Welcome back. The nameless is the beginning of heaven and earth. What does it mean? This is a sentence found in chapter 1 of the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. I'm highlighting the sentence for two reasons. The first reason is pretty obvious. Many people find the word nameless quite perplexing. In particular, what has it got to do with the beginning of heaven and earth? The second reason is less obvious. I would like to use it as an example to illustrate how tricky it is to translate the Tao Te Ching. Now, let's look at the first concern. What Lao Tzu means when he says, the nameless is the beginning of heaven and earth. Not every translator uses the same word, nameless, although we find it in several translations, including the popular ones, like that of Feng Jiafu and James English. Stephen Michel uses a similar expression, unnameable. What does the nameless mean? How can the nameless be the beginning of heaven and earth? The best way to understand the sentence is to take a look at the original text. This is what it says. 无名天地之始. 无 means nothing. 名天地之始 means it talks about the beginning of heaven and earth. So what the sentence says is, nothingness is the beginning of heaven and earth. What is nothingness? How could it have begun heaven and earth? The central theme of the book, the Tao Te Ching, is Tao, which is the underlying principle of every existence. It is in everything and keeps the entire universe together. Although almighty, it is formless and therefore invisible. So when Lao Tzu talks about the nothingness being the beginning of heaven and earth, he's talking about the formless Tao, the almighty force that governs the entire universe. And the next question is nothingness also the nameless? Now a simple answer is yes. But why do we use the word nameless rather than nothingness? This is where the trickiness of the translation is. It has to do with the use of punctuation. When Tao Te Ching was written, punctuation, that what we know today, was non-existent. We are, however, so used to having punctuation, and editors over the centuries have used their discretion to add punctuation to the book. Unfortunately, not every editor puts the punctuations in the same way, and this sentence is a case in point. What I showed you just now is 无名天地之始. When this is the case, an appropriate translation of the sentence is like what I presented just now. Nothingness is the beginning of heaven and earth. Another popular edition of the Chinese text, however, put the punctuation differently, and this is what it does. 无名天地之始. You'll notice that instead of putting the comma after the first Chinese character, it puts it after the second character. So instead of 无名天地之始, the sentence is now read as 无名天地之始. Now, 无 becomes 无名, and the translation has to change. From nothingness, we are now talking about 无名, which means no name. The no name or the nameless here means no form, so it talks about Tao as well. It is another way to express the same idea. So the nothingness is the beginning of heaven and earth, and the nameless is the beginning of heaven and earth, are talking about the same thing. Fortunately, despite difference like this as a result of difference in punctuation, the thrust of most versions of the Tao Te Ching don't differ much. The translation, however, highlights the fact that when you see different use of words in a different edition, don't immediately jump into a conclusion that this translation is right and that translation is wrong. Translation of the Tao Te Ching is tricky and very challenging. Hope the video is useful to you. Thank you very much for watching.